Hey, welcome to another edition of Freight Trapping Podcast. I am your host, Mr. James Roberts. And we in the place today. We got some things going on today. We got some things popping off tonight. Yeah, boy. Come on in, man. Come on in. If you come in, click that like button for me. That's all I ask. Tell somebody, reach out to somebody, tell somebody about the podcast. We just try to inform, educate, and train on everything transportation. Answer a few questions to the best of our ability, and tell you a little bit about what we know. Give you a little bit about our advice, our opinion, and that's what it is. It's just an opinion based podcast, but we do train. We do have experience and a lot of experienced drivers, just to give you a little taste of our podcast. Like I said, tonight I have I'm interviewing a young man that I've been trying to get him for a minute, and he'll be on tonight. We'll be talking tonight later on when he gets ready to come in. But in the meantime, I just want to touch on a few topics that I got on the screen there. The first thing, I just want to keep it real light tonight. I don't want to go too heavy, but I have two articles that I need to get into. I just have to. I have to get into. The first article is going to be, one of the articles is going to be about the U.S. road check results. The U.S. road check results. They had over 4,100 vehicles they inspected, and about 1,000, maybe 1,100 drivers placed out of service. So we're going to talk about that because I brought it up a few months ago that they was coming in, and actually for Texas this month is August 22nd through the 28th is brake safety week. So we've been telling you, man, get your brake checked, get your airlines checked, get your brake chambers checked, make sure you check your slack adjusters. Make sure ain't none of your lines got no cracks in them. Check your lines, your air lines from the tractor to your trailer. Check your pigtail for your electric. Make sure everything's running good. Check make sure your nuts and bolts are tight. They're none loose. That's all a part of brake check week. So, we're going to try to help you out, get you streaming, try to give you the news, what to look for, things going on in the transportation industry. And we're going to talk a little bit about life. We're going to talk about things that's going on. And they still had the overdrives. Oh my God, I'm tripping. I'm gonna have to do this real quick, y'all. I'm gonna have to fix that. Overdrives. Pride and Polish online show. Overdrive is a magazine, and they had their Pride and Polish show. Let me see if I can do this real quick, y'all. Bear with me. Let me see if I can get this in real quick. Get this spelling right real quick. Where I'm at. Yeah, they had their online show this week, and so They got the winner, but they still had a show. Is what I'm getting at. They still had a show. They still had a show. They didn't let. They didn't let. I guess the surge in COVID numbers. They didn't let it kind of overshadow what was going on. So they still had it, y'all. So I think that was a good thing that they still had it. Trying to get this right real quick because I don't want to get cursed out. So see if I can get this right. So yeah, they had their Override had their show this weekend. Overdrive. I keep calling them Override. I don't know why. But Overdrive had their show this weekend. And so they had the winner. They had a winner. I'm gonna show the winning truck here in a minute. But I just want to talk about just overall transportation and what we've seen throughout the week. And one thing I want to talk about is Phillips. Phillips had their recall on. They had a recall on some CPAP machines. And I know that I don't know if you guys are over the road, you're not hearing this, or you just kind of out of the loop. But Philips had a recall on some of their CPAP usage devices. And so what they were saying was that the CPAP, some of the materials that was inside of the CPAP were degenerating and was turning into particles that could affect your health. And so that's where it came in for me, because I am a CPAP user. And for me, like I told you guys, for me, everything in trucking is, to make somebody money. And that's just my opinion about it. It's not a fact, just my opinion about it. And so there's a class 1 recall, matter of fact. They recalled the CPAP machines, some CPAP machines that they believe are in that number for being degenerate. Hold on, y'all. So they sent out a link, and I had to turn this in to my manager, because the fact of the matter is that if you decide that just because they recalled it and you may be one of those, I understand the fear. I understand the fear of still using that machine. But at the end of the day, you if you have if you didn't have a what am I trying to say? If you have a company that you have to send your report in every month, then what happens is that you will get put out of service, or you won't be able to drive if you're not in compliance. And so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go in, and you're going to have to go in, get your machine checked, get your see if your machine is one of those that were recalled. Just plain and simple, you have to go in and get it and get it checked. You just can't decide not to use your machine. I understand the because I was nervous. I was like, oh my God. I was like, nah, hold on, wait a minute. Because I wanted to know if I was using a defective machine. So I went in and I had to call and I had to check, because I don't want to be out of compliance, because I don't want to be out of compliance, but I'm still worried about my health, right? So I had to go in and check. I had to call and check. And so when you call and check, you have to give them your serial number. Give them your serial number, and they'll tell you whether or not your particular machine is one that was affected. So they'll let you know if your machine was one of the ones that was affected. So by the time that you go in and you decide that, hey, I don't want to use this machine anymore, you have something to stand on, and they won't put you out of service. That's just the way it goes. You know, nobody likes it. I know I don't like it, but at the end of the day, you have to go through those steps in order to cover your back. But because I know that this CPAP thing is really, really, really touchy. It's really touchy. It's really touchy. So at the end of the day, you have to be able to you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself when it comes to doing what's right for your license, making sure that everything is good. Well, I don't even like the way that looks. That is just, I don't like the way that looks. So you have to do everything you can to protect yourself, no matter what happens. And I'm gonna have to take a real quick break. Trying to get my guy in. Oh, that's not showing. Yep, try to get my guy in, and hold on real quick, y'all. Yeah, so you have to go in and get your CPAP done, man, and get everything cleared and get everything on the up and up, get everything the way it needs to be, because they made the rule for a reason, and like I said, this is just my opinion. I can't sit here and say, okay, yeah, that's what it is, but it's put in place for quote unquote the health of the driver. So at the end of the day, bro, you just gotta kind of take it for what it's worth and just be in compliance with your license when it comes to that. But the this is what the article says. This is what the article says. CPAP recall could be a problem for drivers with sleep apnea, right? So electronics manufacturing giant Philips is recalling millions of CPAP and BiPAP devices due to an issue that could potentially pose a health risk to users of the machine. In the wake of the recall, an Oregon-based truck driver has filed a class action lawsuit due to not being able to work while not being treated for sleep apnea, which means that he can't use his machine. And those machines are not cheap. I'm gonna tell you something. Those machines are not cheap, and that's one of the issues that I have with them coming in mandating drivers to have sleep apnea, or they consider to have sleep apnea. That's one of the problems that I have with it, is because they're telling you, okay, you have to go in and you have to get tested and you have to do all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, what happens is what happens is that you have to foot the bill. I mean, even with insurance, you have to foot the bill as a driver. You have to foot the bill as a driver. So at the end of the day, the least that they could do with mandating drivers to have the CPAP machine is to make sure that it's 100% covered by the company. Now, there's some companies that they say, well, we're not gonna push it because it's not we're not worried about it so much. You know what I'm saying? Per se, we're not worried about it. So what happens is you have to go in and you have to go in and pay out of pocket. The average CPAP machine costs about $1,200, between $1,200 to $1,800, and that's not with all of your supplies, the filters, the air hoses, the masks, all the other stuff that they kind of come in and say, hey, you need to be able to do this here. CPAP machines are not cheap. They are not cheap, but they want you to be in compliance with it. So you have to you have to kind of go in and you have to bite the bullet, and you have to pay for it all yourself, unless you're fortunate to have a company that covers you 100%. Your tests, your equipment, because if they're going to do it like that, then at least they should be able to afford you, the proper, afford you, them to pretty much pay for it. You know what I mean? And that's only I think that's fair. I don't know about nobody else, because I don't know anybody that has that type of money that's a driver. And you could say yeah, they do, or whatever the case may be, but it's hard on drivers to come in and take care of that CPAP machine like that. So Philips, which also manufactures light bulbs and various electronics, issued the recall on June 14th. The recall was intended to address the polyester-based polyurethane sound abatement foam, which is used to reduce sound and vibration in the affected devices. The material may break down and potentially enter the device's air pathway. A full list of the affected devices can be seen, and they say here. I think they have a website that you go to. Let me see if I can see it. I think if you go to Philips, let me see. Because you can go there and put in for your put in all of your information, your serial number, and you can see if your device has been affected. It's philips.com /SRC. Philips.com //SRC. I'm gonna put it down here in the comments so you guys can have it. But yeah, they've issued a recall on some of the Philips what can I say? Philips CPAP machines that are used by most truckers. And what I'm saying to you now is, just don't go off and stop using your CPAP machine because they got this recall. Because if you're close to yourself going to get recertified, if you're close to yourself having to turn in your monthly usage to your employer, they're not gonna want to hear that. So go to their website. You can put in all of your information, and it'll generate to see if you are if your machine is a part of that particular set of devices that were affected. And so those particles, as you sleep, it gets into your lungs, your airwaves, and all of that kind of stuff. and so you have to just go in and just protect yourself, man. Just go in and check. I mean, I was like, damn, for real? And I was on top of mine. I mean, you didn't hear nothing about it in the news. None of that. You didn't hear nothing about it in the news. You didn't hear nothing about it on nowhere else. It just so happens that I have to check, not only for the sake of the podcast, but for the sake of, robertstla.com, the academy, to make sure that we're giving, students and other drivers heads up who could possibly, be in harm, that could be in harm's way for that, and that's the purpose of me doing, different little things, right here on the podcast, because it's an information based podcast. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I feed you is gonna be good for you. But at the end of the day, that's part of what I need to feed you. So, man, go ahead, get your machines checked out. Go to philips.com/SRC and get all your stuff checked up, bro. Get all your stuff checked out, and let's see if where's that at? Let's see, if your machine is one of those machines. And like I say, just don't go off and decide that, I ain't gonna this, I ain't gonna that, I ain't gonna let them do this here, I ain't gonna let them do that. No. Can't do that, bro. You can't do that. You have to go and get your machine checked out, and you have to have proper evidence that your particular machine was affected. That your particular machine is affected. So at the end of the day, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. So, get it checked. Go get it checked. And real quick, that's just been my little spiel on it. That was just my little take on it, because it affects me. So, anything transportation and trucking affects me, I'm going to bring it to you. No matter what it is, how hard it is, how soft it is, whether you want to know about it, don't want to know about it, I'm going to bring it to you, because I feel like any and everything is going to save us as drivers. It's going to protect us as drivers. And that's what we're supposed to do as professional drivers. We're supposed to look out for one another. And that's one of the things I hate about trucking sometimes, is that it's a crab in a barrel mentality. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing good, but I'm not going to tell you what I did to be doing good. I want it all for myself. And that's all good. I understand that, it's dog eat dog. But at the end of the day, a lot of us believe in the law of reciprocity, which means that, if I pour into you, I know that greater things are going to come back to me. So at the end of the day, that's just where I am with it. I know a lot of people who are in that same position with it. Man, I'm gonna help you out as much as I can. As much as I can. It's a business, and some things gonna have to be, monetized. But at the end of the day, if it's here and there, to and fro, little bit, bro, you on the road and you doing something, I'm gonna say, hey man, you need some help? Yeah, boom, not a problem. Everything's not gonna go that way. So real quick, let's get into the topic I have on the screen. Truck show related gathering continue dispute. COVID despite dispute. Truck show related gatherings continue despite COVID surge. And that's another thing, man. The COVID, this variant that they're telling us about, we here in Texas, they put us on red again. I know in New York they're doing a lot. They've done something that I don't really want to speak on it because I didn't read the article, but I just heard about it. They're doing some things in New York again, but it's a surge with the variant. People saying that those who are vaccinated, they spreading it, and those who are not vaccinated, they getting it. Man, there's just a whole lot going on again around this this COVID-19 disease, and I know a lot of people have lost family members to it. We've had a couple of close family members that we've kept in prayer that had been affected by it. So, man, you guys just stay safe, man. Do what you do. You want to wear a mask, wear one. If you don't, that's on you. Don't tell you how to live. I can't tell you how to live, but all I can say is, man, just stay safe. Do what's going to keep you and your family safe. Do what's going to keep the public safe. Do what's going to keep your co-workers safe. If you're still going to work and you're not working from home, man, do what's going to keep y'all safe, bro, and keep y'all, healthy, and keep you going back and forth, and keep you that if you get a cold, you can get over it. Do what's going to make that type of thing just pop, okay? So it says here the new 2020 truck show season was, for the most part, non-existent. Once Mid-America Truck Show was postponed and then eventually canceled, most shows of all sizes across the country decided to also err in the side of caution and either cancel or move online. And the ATAs, American Truck Association, the championships, those are that is one thing in trucking that I was looking forward to competing in, but excuse me, amidst all of that, COVID-19 knocked that out the box, because it's a big event and you move through levels. If you win, you progress. As you win, you progress. As you win, you progress. And one of the ATA competitors that was in that thing, and he did very well in it. We're going to talk to him tonight. But they shut that down, and that's one of the competitions that really kind of gave a lot of truckers camaraderie when it came to knowing one another from all lanes. From the tanker division, flatbed division, freight division, they kind of got to know one another, and then it kind of sharpens your knowledge when you go into those competitions, because it's not only about maneuvering the truck, it's also about knowing about trucking. Where it started from, the origin, where it's going, what rules, what laws have changed, what laws are the same, that type of thing. So at the end of the day, hey man, y'all click that like button for me. I got one person in there. Can you click the like button, please? That one person, whoever it is. So with all that being said, and although MAT has decided to skip 2021 and hold its Gala 50th anniversary show March 24th through the 26th of next year, many shows have been staged and more are on the books in the next several months. So new to the truck show calendar this year is the She Trucking Expo, to be held September 17th through the 19th at the Chattanooga Convention Center. In addition to a truck show, the gathering includes a trade show for vendors, educational programs, and a black tie dinner and cruise on the Southern Belle. So, I mean, they're still doing some of the competition, some of the conventions, some of the things are still going on or still happening. And they're not really, letting this COVID thing get them too down. They're not really letting, too many things hold them back. And they're pushing forward, which for me, it's a hit and miss. I'm gonna go visit my family. I'm gonna go see my family. I'm gonna go see, cause I miss my family, bro. That's all we used to do when we were little, man. Those card games, those domino games, those gatherings that, your aunts and your uncles made sure that you knew who your cousins were. You kind of want to get back to that, because the kids that were born before 2018, 19, 2020, 21, they've had to been they had to be in quarantine or segregated from being around their people. And a lot of kids don't understand when they get around other kids that, hey, you gotta calm down, you gotta sit down, you can't go around. They don't understand that. So I miss that. I ain't gonna say kind of miss it. I miss that because I love playing dominoes with my family. I love playing cards with my family. I love seeing my family because it's comfortable. You ain't gotta watch your back with your people. None of that. Well, I know my family you don't, but can't say that about a lot some other families. You guys still gotta watch your back. So overrides, the 2021 overdrives. I don't know why I keep calling it overdrives. Pride and Pilot's virtual contest concluded Thursday afternoon with 6 trucks and their owners being named champs across 7 categories. 3 finalists were chosen in each of the 7, and one of the trucks won. One of the trucks won, and I want to shout out to that young man, the young man who won. And so I just want to say congratulations to all of that. And right now, I'm gonna kind of cut this short because I see I have my guests in the building, and so right now I'm going to introduce him. His name is Mr. Jarrett Holmes. He's a trainer at a top freight company here over the world. The freight company is known all over the world, but here in Houston, he's one of the top trainers. He's on the safety committee. I think they go to him for everything, and I think I don't want to misquote it, but I think that was 2019. He climbed up the ATA that I just told you guys about, the championship ranks in 2019, and I've been trying to get him on, and I don't want to keep him for too long, but I'm finna go ahead and get him in here so we can go ahead and talk this transportation. So introduce my guest, Mr. Jarrett Holmes.
What's going on, Mr. Roberts? Man.
What's up, bro?
Oh man, ain't nothing, man. Enjoying my weekend.
Enjoying your weekend, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man, same thing. You know me, I just keep it low key. I did a little rolling around, but you know, I just kind of keep it low key.
Yep, that's what's up. How you
so, man, welcome to the podcast.
Okay, that's what's
this
up,
is
man.
The Freight Trapping Podcast.
I'm glad you had me on here, man.
Oh man, I've been trying to get you for about the last 3 months.
I know you blowing up now, man. You know, people knowing you all over now.
Man, look here, bro. We still small potatoes, bro. We keep it humble over here, bro. We keep it humble no matter what. We keep it humble, and bro, you know, we got the millionaire freight trapping. That's what we do. We got the little old pearl. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah.
So hey, man, won't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the to people who may see this and the people who listening now? Just introduce yourself.
All right. Well, I think you already did a good job of bringing me in there. But yeah, you're right. My name is Jarrett Holmes. I'm a trainer at what he said, top freight company. So I would say the top. It is. It's the top freight company as far as LTL is concerned.
Yeah.
There you go. Top freight LTL company. And on the safety committee, I have had a few accomplishments within the company that I'm pretty proud of, and that's pretty hard to achieve. But yeah, so far, yeah, I'm enjoying the benefits of of the accomplishments. But and I'm enjoying working for this company.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, and I mean, it's up to you if you want to tell them who you work for or whatever. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah,
It's
well,
on you.
I
I
do.
don't
You know, I ain't got no shame in my game. But I work for FedEx Freight, man. FedEx,
work
yeah,
for FedEx Freight. And you
FedEx
know me,
Freight.
I
We the
just keep
number
it. I
one
just keep
there.
it politically correct. I don't want to come in and tell your business. I'm gonna let you
Yeah,
tell your business.
yeah.
So
There you go.
FedEx Freight, you work
Mm,
for FedEx Freight. Let me ask you this: How did
okay,
you start? How did you start out in trucking?
okay. Well, let me first say this. I my family. I have a whole family history of truckers.
Mm,
Dad, grandfather, my brother. He already was working for FedEx Freight for about 7 years before I started. I was doing pharmacy
you were
for
doing
about
what?
30 pharmacy, counting pills.
Hold on, wait a
The
minute.
legal way, the legal way.
So you went.
13 years I did pharmacy.
So you came out of the pharmaceutical arena
Yes, I
into
wanted
the
to do
trucking
something.
arena.
Yes, I wanted to change in a career,
And how
and
long ago was that?
that has been about 11 years ago. I came out of the pharmacy field about 11 years ago.
About 11 years ago.
Hmm
And
That's how long I've been working. So what happened with me, how I got started, I got on with two different freight companies on the dock.
mhm, right,
All right, I had no CDL, no experience,
okay,
and I got word that if you start driving the yard mule and learning how to park trailers,
right,
that'll give
right,
you an edge up on getting into the driving program that the companies offer.
right,
Because a lot of LTL companies offer in-house driving programs,
right, okay.
and so I was working at Avery and FedEx Freight at the same time. I was driving, hustling for both of them, one in the morning, one in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And FedEx Freight was the first one to come up with to offer me the driving program. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they said in about 6 months after hustling, driving the yard mule, that they will offer me the program to get
Mm-hmm.
in the program to drive. And that's exactly what happened. After about 6 months of hustling, they offered me to go full time in the program. And the program is about a month and a week long.
Mm.
So yeah, you go with a step by step. You start off on the yard with a DDC instructor for a week, learning how to shift gears, double clutch, park trailers with a tractor, hook sets up, doubles. Then you go with the same DDC instructor, you go in the city for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Then the third week, you go with a road driver for a week, overnight, going to like Dallas, Shreveport, Fort Worth. Every night you doing all the driving.
Right.
And then on the fourth week, you go with a city driver for a week. And that's it. They'll bring the truck to the DMV
Right.
to take your driving part of the CDL. And that last week is the orientation week, and that's it. You're on your own. You're rolling after that. And that's what I
So
did 11 years ago.
okay, so you decided to come out of big pharmacy because the reason why I'm saying that is because that's why we pretty much not that ain't why, but we understand that when people come into our academy or when they contact my wife about a consultation,
Hmm
they're doing the same thing you did 11 years ago. They're switching careers.
hmm
And so when I speak on, when you young in the game, I ain't speaking on your age. I'm just speaking on your experience in transportation, right?
Right.
So because I always compare it to like they do in comedy. If you've been doing comedy for 5 years, you're 5 years old.
That's right.
If you've been driving a year, you 1 year old. So you transferred from being a pharmacist into trucking. You made that transition. Was it worth it?
I'd say it is worth it. And the reason why I say that is because of the freedom of trucking. What I got tired of doing in a pharmacy is I was on the phone with the insurance company on one ear. I had the doctor's office on another ear. I had patients throwing bottles at me because they wanted their medicine right away. I got tired of that same everyday scenery every day.
Right.
I wanted to see a different scenery. I wanted to get out of there. When it was pretty outside, beautiful weather, I was stuck inside. Now, they got good and bad to every job, but yeah, so I was in the AC. I was working with computers. That was great. But I was looking outside the window saying, man, it's a nice day. I would love to be out enjoying the weather. And to me, trucking, you can have the benefits of both worlds. You can sit in the AC, but at the same time, you out there enjoying the weather and the scenery. So that's why I went on and went with that.
So have you ever driven over the road?
I haven't driven over the road yet.
So that's one of the things I wanna hit on also, because it's a lot of paths you can take getting into trucking.
Yes.
Your path was you got on through a training program through the company, which they trained you. You did what you had to do with the company, and then you became a company driver.
Right.
On the spot, which you went to the city.
Yep.
Okay, you drove for the city. See, my path was different, and I try to explain to people that it don't matter what path you take. It just all a matter of, because let me tell you something. You trained me, right?
Right. Yeah.
You trained me when I got the FedEx.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how many years of driving you have. When you go from driving tankers into running freight, your experience now starting over, but your knowledge starting over.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to speak to right there. How hard was it for you to adjust from being a pharmacist to being a driver?
Well, getting the understanding of what you're actually doing, how the process works with picking up and delivering freight to people. That was different for me, and that was a learning experience. Just understanding what's going on and understanding how things work with the delivery process of freight from when you picking it up at until it get delivered to the customer. This whole process, that was interesting to understand how it worked. It might not be as simple as people think, but yeah, I learned a lot about that. And with LTLs, we deal with a lot of shortages, damages, and you get to see the actual cost of the product, and you get to see behind the scenes a lot. Instead of just delivering freight and getting them to sign for it, you get to see invoices and all that, and it's like that. I'll still be shocked at how much stuff costs or how much stuff companies pay to get to for these products. I mean, so I still be shocked about that.
What I found? What I found, man, when I came into LTL.
Yeah. What's up?
Cause I always thought that, man, LTL easy.
Yeah.
Damn, they ain't doing what I do. I'm pulling hose and I'm throwing straps and I'm doing this and doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But once you get into it, and it's basically a customer service based type of thing.
Yeah.
Because where you deliver to, you're representing a company, and you're on the other end, the last mile, what they call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're the last mile of customer service.
Yep.
So what I used to get frustrated was because when I was with you, I seen what you was doing when you was training me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh man, this dude here, he jacking 60 or 80 pound pallets off and just walking it up. Cause you didn't want to wait in a line. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
But I understood that part of it. But then when I started, man, when they let me go, and I went out there, I was just like, okay. But somebody told me that it takes 3 years for you to truly understand the lane you drive. And I can say that after the 3 years, this whole thing slowed down a lot for me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's still stuff I'm learning. I don't know everything about it, and I'm quite sure you're still learning. Like you just said, you still learning different stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, it slowed down a lot. It slowed down a lot after 3 years because I started seeing a lot more.
Yeah.
And
you was catching on the
Yeah, you know me. I'll be out there. Y'all want to go here? Yep.
You ready? You body.
That's so that I could learn different stuff in different other parts of the city that or the nation that they might not do where we are. You see what I'm saying? And then when I see what they doing, okay, I done learned that over there, but we don't deal with that at our terminal. See, a lot of people don't want to work at our terminal. Why? Because we deal with a whole lot of hazmats.
Yeah.
Right?
Let me tell you, we deal with the most.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I know that you deal with a lot of hazmats for the area you run.
Yep, I do. Well, our terminal deal with the most hazmat out of all the terminals in the United States. And the area I run is deal with the most hazmat in our terminal. So all I'm dealing with is hazmat. I feel like I'm a hazmat expert.
So let's go.
All I'm dealing with.
So let's dig a little deeper right now.
All right.
So let me ask you a question. When you get a trainee, or you get somebody who's, they hired on off the street, so that's basically who you get, is a driver that they hire on off the street. So when you get a driver they hire on off the street, what is one of the key things you look for when you're training that particular person? Well, what are one of the key things that'll let you know, hey man, when you go back in and tell the manager he good to go? You know what I'm saying? What are one of the key things that you look for?
How quick they learn, how alert they are, how quick they learn this process. Because there's been some times, it's been some bad ones. But but for the most part,
tell me one of the worst ones. Don't name no names.
You trying to give me
No. Don't name no names.
If I say the incidents, they might know. But I've had people forget their CDLs at home, their licenses at home, everything at home. And man, it's so many stories I got, but one guy I brought out there and I said, I got a whole trailer load of freight to deliver. We got to get going. We got to get this stuff going. I got out there. He said he wanted to run in the store right quick to get him some medicine because he had allergies. And he went in there, and 30 minutes later, he's still in the store. I went back and looked in there and see where he was at. He's sitting down eating. Saying, you not gonna come eat? I'm like, man, hold on, man. We got to. I ain't even made my first delivery yet. We got to get rolling, man. What are you doing? Stuff like that, man. Oh man, you deal with all kind of people and all kind of issues, man. But oh man, especially when hazmat too. I got Hey, I understand everybody don't understand hazmat, and I be being patient with people a lot of times. But if I tell somebody, hey, it's 24 drums of flammable material on here, what should I placket it? And they say corrosives, you should put a corrosive placket on there. We got a problem. You know what I'm saying? To me, that should be common sense. But stuff like that, that's what I look for.
But
Just common sense, man. That's all it is.
but see, that's one of the that's
But I
one of
don't
the
usually
things.
be. I mean, I'm not hard on people like that.
Right, that's one of the things that I found that coming from I was running hazmat, right?
Right.
But because I was driving tankers, it was bulk.
Yeah.
And so I just had permanent placards on side of my trailer.
Yeah.
And the UN number, I didn't have to change out. So
Right.
when I got the FedEx, that made me amp up my hazmat game because you got to know what can ride together, what can go, what got to be separated. You got to know what has to be placard no matter how much it weighs. You got to know how.
Yep.
You got to know what to put UN numbers on. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So
That's right.
that just kind of up my level of knowledge when I got the FedEx, and that's all I be
Even
looking
like
for.
with FedEx, we haul, or any LTL company that haul hazmat and stuff, we pick up food products too and deliver food products. You got to know. See, a lot of people think you can't haul any poison on the same trailer with food products, but it's a certain class of poison and a certain packing group of poison. Zone A, packing group 1. Then now you can't haul it on the same trailer, but the other ones you can haul it. You just got to space it apart, stuff like that. So it's just a lot of detail. You got to know when to run dangerous placards.
Right.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's and another thing a lot of people don't know about placards. A lot of people pick up class 9 and it's not in bulk, and they think that they got to run a class 9 placard. I see this on a lot of trucks. Class 9 you don't have to run a class 9 placard if it's in the United States. That's only if it's going overseas or out of the country. Class 9 and marine pollutant. A lot of people placard that unnecessarily because you don't even have to do it unless it's in bulk.
Hey, I see.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I'm giving a little class right now on hazmat.
Hey man, do what you do, bro. That's why I got you on here. Do what you do.
And then another thing is when people pick up hazmat, let's say truckload guys or something. If a lot of people don't know, if you got any other thing on that truck, you don't need the UN numbers. They think if they pick up over 8820, that's the specific number of certain hazmat. Usually, if you pick up 8820 of a certain hazmat, you got to run the UN numbers on that particular hazmat.
Right.
But if you have one box, not even of hazmat, of anything on that truck, is not considered a bulk container anymore. So now you don't need to run the UN numbers for it.
Right.
Stuff like that. I see guys with UN numbers when they have multiple shipments on that and they don't even need the UN number. You know, stuff like that. It get deep into that. But I could go on and on about this. I could teach the class on it.
But that's what I'm saying, and that's why you know I like to talk to people of your knowledge, because it gives these younger guys or somebody that may be tuning in or that may go back and listen to the podcast, they give them a understanding of what it is they need to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we created a podcast, was to kind of educate, entertain, and give some life lessons to, because I learned a lot when I started working with you. You know what I'm saying? And they don't understand how when you had a terminal like that or any other terminal, Old Dominion, RTL, they don't understand how LTL drivers they kind of help you out. You know what I'm saying? They help each other out.
Yeah.
It's hard
All
out
the
there on the
time.
road.
Mhm.
It's hard out there on the road when when everything like that start rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is.
So I asked you, you know what I'm saying, if it was worth it. You said yeah. So once again, just go ahead and tell me how it is, because what you're doing is basically, as a trainer, you're kind of checking out a driver. What are some other instances that kind of, you know, throw a red flag up for you?
Well, with FedEx Freight, they're supposed to know how to pull sets.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of drivers they get hired on don't know how to hook up sets. Yeah. But what? Because people don't put sets every day at every company. So yeah, I understand that. And that's another thing. When they're hooking up sets, I'll go ahead on and coach them along or teach them as we go, because I already understand. Hey, I know, I know everybody ain't no set pulling experts, but when you
Right.
first start off, you're gonna be pulling a lot of sets. Yeah,
Right.
you might be pulling a lot of sets at first. Yeah.
Oh man, I ain't never pulled no set, but because like you got into it. I don't know the reason why you got into it, but you know your family you come from a family of truckers.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got into it, even though I was driving tankers, I kind of understood. Every time I seen somebody put in a set and I was at a truck stop somewhere, I would always ask them questions. You know what I'm saying? And for me, you know, it's just for me, everything in trucking is about geometry. You know what I'm saying? Geometry. I used to always think you'll never have to use it in trucking or in life, but geometry is a big part of trucking. And if you understand that, you'll understand how to hook up a set, or at least have the knowledge. And that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? I kind of used that and said, okay, this ain't nothing but a portable catwalk. You know what I'm saying? In my eyes, it was a portable catwalk. And so once I understood that and understand the dynamics of it, man, I was off and running, cause we pulled that every night when I first got there. You know what I mean?
See what you saying? Well, what you saying could help other people when they're learning and training on that and stuff. That's why I'm listening to what you're saying, so that might could help somebody else when I'm telling them. I'm trying to get them to understand about pulling a set.
Right.
I'm learning from what you're saying that well, your way of thinking might be somebody else's way of thinking, or the way they need to be thinking about it. So,
well, see, that's what I tell everybody all the time. I'm not closed-minded, and especially when it comes to trucking, because it's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
And if you show me a way to skin a cat, and I have been doing it one way all the time, that don't mean that I can't take your way and melt it into what I already know.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? If you come across a trucker that's closed-minded, then you know what I'm saying. It's gonna be hard to even communicate with him, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think in trucking you got to be able to communicate and receive information. Mm-hmm. So moving a little bit past that, let me ask you this. Now, when you came over from pharmacy and decided to get into trucking, what was the let me see how I can say this here. Did you have a love for it? What motivated you? What motivated you?
You right. I did kind of, because I'd say from when I was little, being around the trucks and stuff like that, I used to change 18-wheeler tires when I was 11 years old. Yeah. I mean, that was when they had the tires with the ring around it, where you had to break the
Yeah,
ring a little.
break the ring. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's dangerous. But yeah, I used to change them. I used to jack the truck up. I used to have to step on the brake bar to break the lug nuts loose. So
Woo. Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
around it. I was in it, and so it's always been there. The people in my family thought I was gonna be the trucker of the family for sure. So uh, yeah,
You know why?
they were surprised when I went into pharmacy.
You know why? Because
Why?
if you out there breaking tires and changing tires, hey man, that's one of the main things that people don't understand is that you got to understand what you're driving. If you don't understand what's under the hood of what you're driving, you know what I'm saying, or have just a little bit of knowledge of some type of mechanics, then how you gonna be able to, you know what I'm saying? How you gonna be able to go down the road and be able to tell somebody, hey man, I just blew out my turbo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, right?
So that's why they thought you were gonna be a trucker.
Yeah, when yeah. Well, not only that, like just going back a little further, when I was about 5 and 6 years old, my grandfather, he had a couple of dump trailers at a business or whatever. He had a couple of trucks and dump trailers, and he used to pick me up on the side of the interstate in the summertime from 6 years old till about 13 on the side of the interstate. My mama would bring me out there to meet him at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, meeting him on the side of the interstate, and I ride with him every day during the summertime. So you gotta have some love for that if you do it that much.
Oh man! But you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? You got a lot of women nowadays that got love for trucking. I'm talking about even in 2021.
Yeah. That's right.
I still see, when I see a woman in trucking,
all right,
I still be like, oh man, you go girl. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still kind of a male dominated industry.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we got a lot of women that work in the industry, it's still a male dominated industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
So it's just a whole big old thing. So let me ask you this here. Let's move over into the ATAs.
Oh, okay.
Tell everybody about the ATAs, what they are, and have you ever competed in the ATAs?
Okay. You're gonna make me seem like I talk a lot after I'm done with all of this.
Hey, you my interview. My wife told me to shut up and let you talk.
People gonna say, man, what this dude shut up, man. But well, with the ATAs, okay, there's a national truck driving. So a lot of people know there's a truck rodeo. But I was surprised the amount of truckers that don't know about this.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's a lot of truckers that don't know that every year it's a competition that go on, and you can a lot of truck drivers, their company that they're with is they encourage people to get in the rodeo, but the drivers don't even know about this.
Right.
And there's money involved in it and everything else, but a lot of people don't know about it. So every year, the competition, it starts around March, and every state has their own competition. Texas and California, because we're so big, are the only two states that have regional competitions.
Right. Okay.
So they split up us into 4 regions in Texas and 4 regions in California, and we compete in a regional competition.
Mm-hmm.
And The winners, the first and second winners out of that, get to go to the state competition. All the other states, they just compete in a state competition, and whoever win that gets to go to the nationals. But Texas and California, you have to compete in. You have to win. You have to win number one in the state. You have to win regionals and state in order to go to the nationals.
Okay.
Now, what the competition entails, every competition is the same. It entails a written test, and the written test can be anywhere from talking about how to apply first aid to somebody you see on the road, to what class of a fire extinguisher you can use in a certain type of fire. Because a lot of people don't know that there's different class of fire extinguishers for certain type of things. For electrical fires, wood fires, stuff like that. You learn about all of that. You have to study a book. You have to know what year did the FMCSA come out with this rule. All kind of stuff. You have to know about all of that. What rule is this for, and what rule is that for? That's one part of it. The second part is a pre-trip inspection. So they have DOT members out of each state. They'll set up stuff wrong with the truck from the front to the back, whole tractor trailer set up. And it can be something as small as they can unscrew one of the lug nuts off one of the tires. They can let the air out of one of the tires. They can put a logbook in there that's not signed. They could, or a VIR book, but they can plant drugs in there in a tractor. They can put an old fire extinguisher in there. They can take the sand out of one of your triangles. Stuff like that. You have so many minutes to find it. All these problems. It can be up to 10 problems, 7 problems. It depends on the competition. And you have so many minutes to find it. And then the last part of it is the driving competition. And they'll set up obstacles. It's all of them have 6 problems in every competition. Some of them will be, you have to stop your bumper. You know, a railroad crossing, you have to stop 15 to 50 feet from a railroad crossing if you have hazmat. They'll put a mark on there. The closer you stop to that 15 foot, the more points you get. You have to put your tires, your trailer passenger side tires. They'll put a cone out there with a line on it. The closer you get to that cone, the more points you get. Stuff like that.
So tell me this
rear bumper stops, front bumper stops. Yeah.
So tell me this here. Tell me about your experience in there, and what was the furthest you got in the competition? All right.
Well, I won the regional competition. I was pulling a flatbed because they have different. You can pull whatever you want. You can pull a tanker, flatbed. They have different classes in there. 9 different classes. I chose a flatbed, and it was a 53-foot flatbed with a split axle. But I won the regional. And then I proceeded to the state competition. And which was in Waco, Texas, and I won number 1 in the state, which is pretty hard to do because at the regionals, it's a lot of companies that send their best drivers at the regionals.
Top of the line,
But then when you go to the state, because a lot of companies have to compete within each other, within the company before they even pay for them to go to the competition. They choose the first and second place winners out of their company, and they'll send them to the competition. FedEx, they'll pay for anybody to go in there. But once you they have some companies that'll pay for any drivers that want to go. And but once you get to the state level, now you're dealing with all the winners from the regional level. From all the different regions, you compete against those guys in the state. I won until 2018. I won number 1 in state. So That means I have to go. Then the next competition from that is the nationals. So you have
Right.
to compete against all the number one winners from each state. So 49 of the number one winners from each state in the nationals, and that was in Columbus, Ohio that year. Every year is somewhere different, and but I ended up placing 16th in the nation.
Yeah,
But
but that's still good, bro.
yeah, I mean
That's
now when you
still
thinking
good.
I want to win this thing, but it's it ain't that good. But it is good when you look at when you compare it to who you competing against, and a
Yeah,
lot of guys,
you hit
yeah,
16 out of you come all the way from the city, and
yeah,
all of those drivers who didn't make it. So you got to think it had to been over at least
oh
20,000
yeah,
to get
oh
16
yeah,
out of 20,000.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You right, yeah, you right.
Cause,
That's pretty good. But
cause
I
when I
guess
seen
I
that,
set high standards for myself.
yeah,
But I
I
found out
get
it's
you.
been
Cause you
guys
want to
been
be a
competing in
winner.
that for since yeah. It's been guys been competing and going to that since 2002 through 2005 and all this. And a
Because
lot of them guys,
the more you go to
yeah.
it, the more you know about what you need to do to win.
Thank you. Yeah,
That's why. That's why
that's
I
it.
hated when they canceled it when COVID came through. Cause I told you, boy,
Yep,
we was
you was
going to
ready.
take something, bro.
We
I,
was. I
we,
want to see. I want to do the show out, man.
man, bro, I did a rodeo at my other company. They had a rodeo, but they never. It wasn't like, okay, you win this, you go to the ATAs. It was just an in company thing to build
Within the
boost
company.
morale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But when I
Yep.
got there and I seen you do that, my second year there,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I'm in there next year. I kept telling you, we going, we
Yep.
coming.
That's right.
We coming, cause
That's
I was
right.
just like,
That's
cause
what I'm
I'm
talking
all about, bro. Hey man, we gonna get there, and we gonna push each other. And you already knew, I
Yeah.
knew what to do. I was like, bro, we gonna push you, and then I'm gonna be grabbing your coattail.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You gonna drag
Yep.
me with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. And a lot of what I try to encourage people about to get into it for is because it's a lot of companies that offer incentives, and a lot of people don't know about that.
mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of companies offer money. Some companies offer vehicles. They got companies that buy the driver a pickup truck for their personal self
Mm-hmm.
for winning the national competition. But
Right.
it's a big thing. It's a real big thing. Yeah, it's a real big thing. So I just encourage people to look forward and look into getting into that. If that company is willing to pay for them to get in that,
But I
because
think
all companies is in this competition.
you
All
see,
companies. I mean, like all kind of
that's
companies.
that's the kind of information that as an owner operator I didn't get. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When I
Yeah.
worked for all of these
That's right.
other little,
Uh-huh.
when I was leased on to different companies, you don't get that type of information, or you don't say, oh, okay, I can put my driver in this, and it's gonna help him sharpen his knowledge. It's gonna help him sharpen his skills. Cause any competition gonna help you sharpen at your craft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now you gotta start. You gotta first. It's knowledge about it too. Because we had a book that we got from the company that. But like you said, it's a lot of companies that not gonna afford to send their drivers like an Old Dominion or a FedEx or a AAA or R&L.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So,
But
I
if
think they have
to me, if they ask them about it though, they might, because the companies get recognition for doing stuff like that. Like your name get out there. Yeah, and the thing is, like the year I went to the Nationals, it was the first year they merged the DOT competition with ours. So the DOT have a competition every year too.
Explain that, cause I didn't know that. Explain that.
They have a inspection competition every year on how to inspect
Oh yeah, yeah,
truck
yeah,
drive.
yeah. I seen that. Yeah, right. Yeah,
And the one year I went, a Texas DOT, a Texas State Trooper won number one in the nation. But they merged the two competitions together. And from what I've been hearing, the reason for doing that is to try to create a better relationship between the truck drivers and the DOT.
right. Yeah,
So we
yeah,
got to meet all the head of DOT, and they saw, and the companies that won and that were placed in there, like it gained respect from the DOT
right. Yeah.
because yeah, because you learn how to do pre-trip inspections to the T. So and how to drive better, you improving your craft. You learn you get more knowledge about the industry because you have to study stuff like that. So it's like once you make it to that level, you got to be good at each thing you do. You can't be good at one thing and not the other and get that
Right.
to that level. You got to be good at everything. So you gain in respect from the DOT.
I'm
And
gonna ask you one more question.
so go ahead.
Now, I'm gonna ask you one more question, and I told y'all wasn't gonna hold you long. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna ask you one
All right.
question, and we
No,
I'm
I'm
gonna
good. I'm
let you.
good. You good?
You good? Do you think
Oh yeah.
trucking? Do you think trucking is a skill, a skilled trade? Is trucking a skilled trade?
I I think so. I think the better you are, man. They got some people that can't drive a car, but to me, um, but what I'm saying, okay, that can be a little tricky question, but I say it's it's easier to do than a lot of people think. A lot of people think when you driving a truck, it's like you driving an airplane or something. This big old piece of machine. But once you get behind that driver's seat and you get familiar with your equipment, it's like you become one with it. It's like you driving a car. So, but I think I think it's a skill. I think you have to have. I think you can get good at it. I think you need to be good at driving stuff instead of, I don't know. I think I would consider it a skill. What you think about that?
Man, you know what I think. Every I think I get in. I
Let
get
me hear what you
into.
think.
I don't call my truck getting behind the wheel. I call it getting in the cockpit, cause it's a plane on the
Yeah, there
ground
you
for
go.
me. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? It's a plane on the ground for me, and you gotta be skilled to fly a plane,
Yeah.
and you gotta be
Yeah.
skilled to maneuver that truck through. I thought
Oh yeah.
driving in the city was easy.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did
Nah.
because I came off the road,
When I'm thinking,
so
when you ask me that, and I'm thinking of drive, first thing I'm thinking about is just on the road, driving straight,
that's easy,
dropping, hooking, driving to another destination, dropping, hooking. Yeah, when it
bro.
comes to
I
city
drove over the
driving, that's
road.
definitely a skill.
Bro,
Definitely a
I drove
skill.
over the road, and when I came off the road to the city with FedEx, that's why I say it took me 3 years to get comfortable. Well, not get comfortable, but to get the proper understanding of delivering the freight and maneuvering the truck through city, because
Yep.
you got tight spots, you
Hmm.
got people in four wheels that don't respect your truck,
Yep.
and you got kids running across the street, you got pedestrians and all of that. So it
That's
takes a
right.
skill to make a right hand turn out the same lane on a narrow street that you got to go down and make a
Hmm.
delivery on. It takes skill,
That's
bro.
right. And
It takes
oh
skill.
yeah, it definitely takes a skill to do that when you're talking about city driving. And the thing about it, we as city drivers deliver to any and every place you could possibly think about. So you mentioned kids and stuff. We deliver in neighborhoods. We deliver to schools, mechanic shops, chemical plants. We everywhere.
And see,
So yeah, you do have to have a skill. You got to know. You got to be able to to judge power lines, how low they are, because we all up in neighborhood with low power lines. A whole bunch, oh man,
trees.
it's
And see,
trees. There you go. That's what I
and
was
see,
getting at. Trees.
my thing is not taking nothing away from driving over the road, but I understood now why when they bring you out of a Swift or out of a ACC, out of a Lone Star, out of one of their training programs, I
Yeah.
understand why they want to put you over the road, because they want you to get comfortable behind that wheel, or not really comfortable, but they want you to understand what you're doing behind that wheel. Because once you decide to come to this city, bro, I ain't never had to kind of get out and look as much as I've had to do in the last 3 years. Because you backing down.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge every day.
And guess what? I welcome that challenge. That's the love for trucking for me.
Yeah.
I welcome that challenge. Oh man, you can't do that for real. Let me see. If I got enough room, that's why geometry come in at. That's why the geometry come in at.
Yeah.
If I got enough room over here,
I love it. When they
if
say,
I got
"Oh yeah,
enough room on this side,"
yeah,
and I can pull up just enough and cut this wheel real fast and go on jackknife real quick, and I can get into this narrow space. That's the challenge, and for me, that's where the love come from. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the geometry come from.
That's right.
You know what I mean? That's why I say when I was in school, geometry,
I thought. Saying,
now go ahead.
Oh no, it's a lag in the. It'd be a lag in there, so
Yeah.
But when somebody say, "Oh, no 18 will ever been in here," or "You can't, it ain't gonna fit in here," I scoped out, and look at it right quick, and if you can fit your car in there, I'm coming in there. I put it in your driveway if you want me to.
Hey, I tell them,
there,
and the most thing I tell them too is, boy, hey, I can get up in there as long as you got a flagger that I can back up out of here. If you got a flagger, that's gonna stop them cars.
Well, that's why it's important to, on a lot of stops, if you can back in, because it's always easier to pull out. When you backing in, you aware of the cars coming and passing and stuff like that. But once you pull in, now it's gonna be, you would have to have a flagger to back you out. Yeah.
Right. And that's why I always tell everybody it's easy to keep your truck in the lane going down the straight highway. That's easy. When you get to where you're going, don't get it twisted. I done been in some tight spaces over the road because you go deliver them buildings and all that kind of stuff, and they want you to go to places where. But at the end of the day, that's why I say trucking is a skill. Trucking is a skill, and
it is.
You got a master's degree in your back pocket. As long as you keep everything clean on that master's degree, on that CDL, bro, you can go and do anything you want with that joint.
Anything.
That's how I see it.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So, bro, last thing, bro.
What's up?
What's one tip you would give to a new driver coming into the industry? One thing that you find important to you as a driver that you'll give a tip to a new driver.
Well, first of all, as far as driving is concerned, we talking about as far as driving.
Anything driving.
Yeah.
Doing paperwork, doing pre-trip, whatever that's important to you. What would be that one thing?
Yeah. Well, my first advice would be, I think it'll be like with pre-trip. We got to start off there. Don't assume everything is good. Don't just walk around and look and say, well, I just checked this yesterday or day before yesterday, so we good. To me, a lot of drivers do that. They'll check. They say, well, I checked it this week. I check it once a week. You know, anything from tires to lug nuts to oil, your fire extinguisher, you know, it don't hurt to double check everything, you know. So you might look at something yesterday and it's bad. It might be worn or something might be different today. So always double check and do your pre-trips every day if you can. Um, and then the driving aspect for a new driver that's starting to drive, what stick to me the most, that I remember the most, what I had to learn to do. I used to see my grandfather and my dad always leaning forward at a stop sign all the time. I was like, why they keep leaning forward and back? Oh, I never understand that. But now I see they be looking around that mirror. That mirror is a blind spot. You might pull up to a stop sign. I done had a car come all the way up to my truck, and I never saw him because they was behind that mirror. We pulled up right at the right time. Always lean forward and look around that mirror, double check, because it's been so many times I was about to pull forward, and at the last minute the car flew by, and I was like, "Where was that car at?" Behind it, it was in a blind spot in that mirror. And the last thing is just be aware of your surroundings. Especially when you backing up. Look for your mailboxes, look for your poles, the fences, get a view of everything. And we blindside a lot. I blindside probably about 5 times, 6 times a day. But when you're in a sleeper cab and stuff like that, I'm sure they already would know this, but always try to back in off that driver's side.
Yeah.
You get a better view like that. You don't want to try to back up from the opposite side. That's the advice I would tell somebody if they just coming in the industry. You know, try to flip it around when you can back up on the driver's side.
Hey man.
And be aware of your surroundings when you're backing up. That's it.
Hey man, say bro, I just want to say appreciate your time on this Sunday afternoon. Appreciate you taking out the time to come to my little old podcast. Somebody gonna hear
big podcast.
Hey, somebody gonna hear your little knowledge, bro, and they gonna run with it.
Yeah.
So, bro, I want to thank you. Tell your wife thank you. Thank you for giving me the time.
Yeah, I'll let her know.
Thank you for giving the time to come on the podcast.
Appreciate you having me, man.
And hey, man, don't be a stranger, bro. I'll be putting the link in the bio, and like I'm finna do right now after we get off, we just get on here and chop it up about what we talk about, see what's going on for the week. Hey, bro, appreciate you coming out, man, and salute, man.
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Oh yeah, man.
Keep doing.
I can sit here and talk to myself all night. You know that. I can sit here and talk to myself talk. Say, man.
James,
hey, appreciate you, man. I'll see you later, man. See you tomorrow, bro. Be careful.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. All right. All right. You too. Later.
Yes, sir. That was Mr. Jarrett Holmes, a trainer. A trainer for FedEx Freight. And man, we just, that's how we do, man. We chop it up about a lot of different stuff, man. I don't be ashamed to, if I don't know something, bro, I don't be ashamed to, tap into other drivers and say, man, I forgot about this, or I don't know this, or why you do this, or why you do that, or what that placard stand for, bro. I don't have pride, bro, because I don't know everything, but I know enough. I don't know everything, but I know enough, man. Right now, bro, I'm just gonna sit that link right there for a minute to some of my partners like Mr. Leo and Rasta. I don't know if y'all still in here, man. If y'all want to come in and kind of chime in on some of the things that was said by Mr. Jarrett, or chop it up by some of the news that I have brought up. But I'm gonna leave that up for about 15 minutes. If not, I'm gonna go and shut it off in 15. But I'm gonna talk about this real quick, man. That was a great interview, man. That's why I like talking to drivers. That's why I like, getting drivers coming in, successful owner operators coming in, telling about, their experience, where they going, because, hey man, you can put all of this information into your toolbox and roll with it. Even if you're an owner and you got your own truck, you can take all this information and you can say, okay, this is how I'm going to, this is the bar I'm going to set for my drivers, because I know this, I know that, I heard this, I heard that. So, take everything that you hear on the podcast, run with it, bro. Run with it. Set up shop at your own place of business. You know what you're looking for in the driver. You could hear it, and run with it. And that's what the podcast is about, man. It's just giving you that fresh start. Like I say, the link is in the link is in the chat. If you guys feel like camming up, talking, have any questions, or you just want to expound on something you heard Mr. Jarrett say, or some of the news I talked earlier about the CPAP machine. If you got a driver that's on it, man, you might want to have him check his CPAP machine to make sure that he not among some of those that some of those particles are degenerating inside of his machine, so that he won't get sick. That's one thing I talked about earlier. Yes, sir, Mr. Roster. Roster Pickney. Yeah, he a good trainer, man. He a good trainer, and I try to get good people on, man, and that could really just kind of drop some knowledge on here real quick. You know what I'm saying, and give y'all some surface information. That way, y'all can do a little bit more digging, do a little bit more, kind of put some bullet points on what you want out of a driver. Real quick, they said that they conducted a U.S. road check, and like I said, 4,100 vehicles, 1,100 drivers placed out of service doing the road check. So this might help Mr. Leo. Mr. Leo, I know you say you don't run, your trucks don't go out of state, but that was the road check. They're having a brake safety road check in August, from August the 22nd to August the 28th. So y'all might want to make sure y'all get y'all brake shoes checked. Make sure the depth on y'all tread is good. Make sure you got enough oil in your axles. Make sure you got your slack adjusters right. Ain't none of them out of whack. Make sure your lines ain't got no cracks in them. Make sure that your brake chamber's good, cause it is brake check week. And when it come down to them brakes, they will shut you down. When it come down to them brakes, they will shut you down. So they did a level 1 inspection. Inspectors conducted level 2 walk-around driver vehicle inspections, level 3 driver credential administrative inspections, and level 4 vehicle only inspections. So out of all of that, in Canada and the U.S., inspectors conducted 9,400 level 2. Top 5 vehicle out of service violations in the U.S.: brake system, tires, lights, brake adjustment, and cargo securement. That was out of service violations. That was the top 5: brake system, tires, lights, brake adjustment, and cargo. You might not think those are some. Those are not really. Man, look here. Once your brake system, if your brake system out of whack, that is an automatic shutdown. I promise you. And those tickets are not cheap. Those tickets are not cheap. Top 5 driver out of service violation in the U.S. These are drivers. The ones I just read was just the top 5 vehicle out of service. Top 5 driver out of service violations is in the U.S. hours of service. Number 1, wrong class license. Really? Number 2, other. Number 3, false logs. Number 4, and suspended license. Number 5. Those were your top 5 driver out of service violations. Your top 5 hazmat out of service violations: loading, meaning that your load wasn't loaded right. Placards on hazmat loads, they wasn't placard right. Shipping papers, meaning that your shipping papers didn't have the right information, or the information wasn't in the correct order from UN all the way down to shipping class, you got to have all of that in the proper way. Sometimes they don't get the paper signed for a hazmat. Sometimes they forget to put the X, and sometimes they forget to put pounds on there. All of that is a violation when it comes down to the shipping papers. So you got to have all of that on your shipping papers. Markings and other hazmat. Decal issues in the U.S. Decals meaning that you don't have all of your numbers on the side of your truck when it comes down to your DOT number. You don't have all of your numbers on the side of your truck when it comes down to U.S. DOT number. You don't even have your IFTA tag on the side of your truck, and you have IFTA. Those are the decal issues in the United States. Power units, trailers, buses, and the total. So decals also go into inspections and all of that. You don't have your inspections up to date, all that kind of stuff. You don't have your permits on your trailer. You know you do. You're supposed to have on the trailer. You're supposed to have the weight limit on the trailer that the trailer can hold. So all of that went into effect. All of that came into play when they did the inspection, and you'll be surprised at how how many people take that for granted. But like I said, at the end of the day, hey man, this was a good episode. It was a good show. I want to thank Mr. Jarrett Holmes for coming through and blessing us with his knowledge, blessing us with his time on this Sunday afternoon. And I want to say to you guys, hey man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for being in, and appreciate you guys for just giving us your time to come in and just like, subscribe, tell a friend about the episode, man. And like I said before, I'm gonna keep doing this till the wheels fall off, till I get tired. I can talk to myself all night, because at the end of the day, no matter what, I might go back and see the information. Somebody might not be able to get on it, but guess what? I'm still keep talking this trucker talk, keep talking this transportation talk. So at the end of the day, hey man, much love, life, and unity. Stay safe. Mask up if you want to. If you don't, that's on you. But stay safe and stay healthy and stay out the way. I have been your man, your solo driver, Mr. Solo Driver. I'm your homeboy. I'm your trucker info guy, Mr. Freight Trapping himself. This has been another issue, another episode, another informational episode of the Freight Trapping Podcast. And we'll see you next week.